Because he's been doing it for more than 16 years now.
Yeah.
First as running mate and subsequently as flag bearer. So he can sit in Accra and tell you what is happening in the eastern region, certain constituencies, because he's been in touch with that party for that long. None of the other aspirants have that national appeal. The first time Kennedy Agyapong was exposed to that national appeal was when he picked a form in 2022 or 2023 to contest for the flag bearer. That was the first time he went around the country. So if amongst them, though they all want to claim that they are party people more than Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, if there is anybody equipped with knowledge and experience of the party and it can speak to the party's internal happenings in every constituency, it is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. If there's any flag bearer amongst them who clearly can tell you the challenges of the party in Upper West region, in Eastern region, in Ashanti region, and the executives can see and know him because they have worked with each other for years, and even elders of the party can relate, is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So when many of these elders across the 16 regions see him, he will be able to mention them by name. A chunk of them. Unlike the likes of Dr. Brian Achampong and Kennedy Agyapong, who are now trying, who may be known.
I'll give you an opportunity to do an intro.
Please,
but if you're going to a contest.
No, but let me, you don't cut me midway.
Let's
you don't cut me
so that he doesn't lose his train of thought.
You don't cut me midway. So, clearly, many of the elders in the 16 regions would have known Kennedy Agyapong because he's popular in Accra, or Brian Achampong. But it doesn't mean that
he knows them.
He knows them. So the people would be looking for the candidate who knows them and whom they have worked with in years. It will be Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. That's one. Two, temperament. Look, when it comes to the disposition of a leader, it is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia who can at least convince the party people that, look, I have this temper, I'm a gentleman, I am calm, I'm collected. And leadership, especially the state of the MPP, you do not need reckless leadership. You need measured leadership, calm leadership to redirect the fortunes of the party. And clearly it is him. But when it comes to baggage, they all have baggages. And Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, a chunk of his baggage stems from the fact that from the service he rendered to the New Patriotic Party. Today, even within those of us in the National Democratic Congress, when we are going to criticize Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, we'll criticize him based on the empty promises he made on behalf of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo since 2007. To a point that he became vice president, became head of the economic management team. And many of these things we will question him on were earned because of his service, not to himself, but to the New Patriotic Party. So he is well suited. But you see, what I can tell you is that it is also in the interest of the New Patriotic Party to want to stay loyal to him, to dispel the rumor that he was not just being used to achieve a certain political end.
All right.
And for many of us, whoever they bring, I can assure you, the MPP is in a dire state. Whoever they are, look, I'm trying to use an acceptable word, but Nana, where the MPP finds itself today, none of the flag bearers, including Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, can actually win political power from the National Democratic Congress.
We're here to see the NDC primaries begin. But
when you're going into a contest and somebody on the other side seems to be advocating for a particular candidate that they are supposedly going to go into a contest with. You should take that with a pinch of salt. I mean, I know this kind of politics, but the reality is that we in a New Patriotic Party are governed by the tenets of democracy. And that democracy and the constitution that governs the party states categorically that when every 4 years we would go into an election, we choose the person that will lead the party into the next elections, right? Even when we have a president, or we are in power, and we have a sitting president, the party opens nominations. What it means is that we do not give a carte blanche to anybody by virtue of the fact that you've been flag bearer before or whatever, that you go into the contest, you prosecute your own campaign, you sell your message to the party rank and file, and then they make a decision. And we believe strongly where we say to that. Dr. Bernard Champong has what it takes. He has been able to convince the party people that where we are today, the dynamics in the 2028 elections will definitely change. And we require somebody who will be able to galvanize the entire party base, unite behind a single purpose, and win elections in 2028. So I'm not going to be sitting here to be distracted by Hamza and all the things that he's saying. But the reality, what is rich is the fact that all of a sudden, the NDC now are advocating for a particular candidate. And then in the same breath, I mean, within a few seconds, now also go back and start throwing missiles and all of those things. And that, for me, is something that the party rank and file should take a cue from. That it is imperative that this decision is based on the conversations that we've already had, which is someone who would be able to galvanize the base, win us elections, gain the confidence of Ghanaians, and again serve as an inspiration to young people of this country. And I've said it on many platforms that to have a 53-year-old Ghanaian be able to excel in areas from public service to private enterprise and as a member of parliament and done the things that he has done over this period, apart from all the politics and apart from what we do where people are sort of aligned to a political party and everything, that would serve, that alone on its own, will serve as a source of inspiration for the young people of this country that you can, and so that encapsulates everything. Right, and so for me, I'm not listening to Hamza. Of course, they want what they want by virtue of what they have done in the past and what they are happy with. Because what Dr. Bernard Champong presents is something totally different. It's unique, and they will not be able to deal with it.
Very well.
But see, Nana, briefly, I think that I've earned that right of reply. First of all, I believe that you have followed my political commentary, and I try as much as possible to appear objective and speak truth to power, regardless of the consequences, especially when my convictions are clear. And this position on the likely candidate of the New Patriotic Party is not influenced in any way by the fact that I believe that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a weaker candidate for the NDC to beat. As a student of political science, I think that when I'm on programs of this nature, I know that there are students who listen to us.
True.
Who would want to learn from us. So I try as much as possible to color my presentations with some semblance of intellectual discussions so that at least there can be intellectual takeaways from it. And so my submissions on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is grounded on that fact, not hidden any political motive. Absolutely not. I am convinced that with the kind of people you are parading to lead, he stands tall. And you can ask this to even a first-year political science student and a watcher of our politics. The likes of Bernard Champong, especially Bernard Champong, and the former education minister, they are too far from the contest. It's a two-horse race between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Kennedy Agyapong. And I can assure you that even Dr. Kennedy, what's his name, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, is likely to be embarrassed by the figures he will get at the end of the day.
Very well. Very well. Let's move on. Let's go to Pandai. The Supreme Court has halted all activities related to the proposed rerun of that constituency. It's an agenda that was being prosecuted by the New Patriotic Party on behalf of Matthew Nyindam, who was the candidate until the High Court ordered a rerun in that constituency. Had you received this news? Mind you, there's the substantive matter still pending before the courts.
Well, I believe that it's a welcoming news. It's a victory for our democracy. While stopping short of going into the merits of the substantive case, I believe strongly that we shouldn't have even gotten to this way to start with.
Really?
If we had gone by precedents and what has happened in the past. But again, there's always, I think that for some reason, there's this insatiable appetite from the NDC to sort of almost wrestle everything and take absolute control over these seats and do whatever it is that they want to do, especially when.
But if they believe that they want it,
Yeah,
then
but
they are very right to
especially
fight it.
what you see when you. I don't want to be propagandist this morning, but especially when there's all this conversation about we wanted somebody advocating for a third term and the party coming back to say that they don't believe that there's a quest for a third term or there's a third term
party has stated its position.
agenda and all of that and some of these things. See, but the point is that when you sit back and you take a cursory look at how the NDC does its stuff, you know, you have to take almost everything that they do with a pinch of salt, you know, because it's almost as if that let's test the waters, but whilst you're doing that, we can have certain group of persons within the party to pretend that they are against this particular position, and then another group also using all sort of subterfuge and all sort of underhand tactics to try and perpetuate that particular agenda. And I believe that the Supreme Court has done a brilliant job, at least in terms of even the common sense approach to it. That, I mean, once the processes have been filed for a stay of execution and for the actual matter to be heard, essentially that's what the Supreme Court could have done to at least also stop the Electoral Commission from proceeding to organize an election that might, based on what the final outcome would be, might be chucked off. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I think that it's a victory for our democracy and all that. Some of these things that happen within our body politic, I believe strongly, should be anchored in values and principles, you know. And of course, I mean, NDC has some level of goodwill, and for some reason, they decide that this is the route that they want to take. When there are really serious, germane, bread and butter issues that they should focus their energies on. Because even in the run-up to these things, and you hear some of the national officers and the commentary that is coming from them and all, I'm like, I mean, it's like as if that we're in some kind of, if you close your eyes and you listen to some of the commentary, it's as if we're in some kind of jungle, or we are at war, or we are in an environment where we despise each other so much so that the rhetoric that would come from certain, even just because of a normal, let's assume, even there's supposed to be a contest. Some of the commentary, for me, it's unacceptable. You understand what I'm saying? So we've won elections. The Ghanaian people have given you the mandate. By all means, go ahead and govern, right? But that does not give you almost like a blank check to, at will, do whatever it is that you deem necessary, and then lose focus. And we've been in government for a year. It's a year, 365 days. And the question is that what exactly is it that you have used this 1 year for? And before you know, there'll be the second year, third year, fourth year, we're going to another election. And you go and you have to go and account for that particular stewardship. Now, in as much as I do not want the NDC as a party to do well, I do not want this country to be misgoverned or the country to be plunged into some kind of either economic mess or by dint of a state of lack of proper security and all of these things go awry or go so bad that we're unable to even survive as a nation. You understand? You don't want that to get there. You don't want the NDC to do well, but of course you want the nation to do well. So I would advise that they should focus on the governance rather than some of these, because the commentary, I mean, when I hear some of them, I don't want to mention names, you know, like beating their chests and making it look like we are at war and we are going to Bandai and we have already, I mean, what is that? You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it is important that when these things happen, we allow the legal processes to get to its logical conclusion. For example, even what pertained in Parliament, where there was this almost like haste, you know, haste to try and make the seats vacant and all of that, and activate and a process and everything. And that's why I'm saying that he's a lawyer. I mean, I don't want to understand. That's why I don't want to go even to the merits of the issues, because I mean that was going to be argued after the holidays, I think on the 30th of January or so. But even the conversation around the jurisdiction of the court, and even the time frame within which that particular application should have been made and all of that. And then my brother is brilliant, he's a brilliant lawyer, you know, all of these things, right? But for some strange reason, when it comes to the politics of it, then they move away from those principles and look away the other way for things to plunge into the states. But I believe that as we speak, it is important that we allow the processes to work, the Supreme Court to make that determination going forward. But it's also a very common sense approach whereby allow the processes to go through, don't rush to go and have an election, and then you have the election, and then a substantive case will be heard, and depending on what pertains at the time, then you spent money, resources, and you know what happens in this country when we even go through by elections, right? It becomes like you're in some kind of jungle, some war, right? And so for me, I believe that let's allow the processes, but we shouldn't have gotten here in the first place to start with. We shouldn't have gotten.
A party to the contest was agreed, so
no, but that is fine. But even that is supposed to be defined within a certain parameters. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, that I don't want to go into the merits of the matter, right? But the ones that is already on public for us for public consumption, where somebody takes an issue to court, and even the plaintiff themselves, who is a party to the thing, is actually disputing 41 or so polling stations. And then the court now proceeds to actually make a determination that it affects the entire 150 or so polling stations and calls for a rerun.
The irregularities are glaring enough.
But that is what I'm saying. But even when, because we have electoral laws in this country, governed by our constitution, and there's also issues to do with precedent, and that even if you want to file for these things, there's a time frame within which you're supposed to do so. Is that not what it is? Yeah, so anyway, I mean, I feel that sometimes we make the stakes too high. We make the stakes so much so that it becomes difficult for us to even coexist as a people. But at the end of the day, we are one people. It doesn't matter if you're MPP or NDC, because there are people who would live in this Bandai constituency, for example, who are brothers and cousins and family members and everything, and then immediately you, by either directly or indirectly, you plunge them into that kind of state, then it becomes like a war, right? And some of the things that was happening there just in the last few days, and going to pitch camp and, you know, showing muscle and all sorts of things, it's unnecessary, to be honest with you. It's unnecessary.
Very well. Hamza, the MPP describes the Supreme Court ruling as a victory for justice and rule of law.
Undoubtedly, it is. It is. And I don't disagree with them. But you see, these are the fruits of the reset agenda that we promise. Interestingly, even the governing National Democratic Congress has just been handed a court judgment that is undoubtedly contrary to the desires and wishes of the party. That is how our judiciary is supposed to work. Our judiciary is supposed to work in ways that many would not consider partisan. And for me, yesterday, when the ruling came out, I was excited. Because for the first time, even an opposition party that not too long ago was questioning government's activities in terms of pursuing our reset agenda and labeling institutions like the judiciary as being compromised institutions under the ruling National Democratic Congress. Today, the NPP seem to be competing amongst itself, especially when it comes to its members, to now thank the Supreme Court for upholding the rule of law. That is commendable, not just to the Supreme Court, but to the Republic of Ghana, and of course, the President of the Republic of Ghana, because clearly, we have a president that is not interested in interfering when it comes to the functions of the judiciary. And it is something that we ought to commend His Excellency President Mahama and the entire government for. Nana, as to the nitty-gritties of the issue, I think that last week we had cause to discuss same. And I indicated to you that in terms of constitutional obligation, the Clerk of Parliament was justified for doing what he did. But as a commitment to our democratic principles, I also indicated that it would have been good for him to have exercised a discretion to possibly hold on. I made that point on this platform. And so the Supreme Court's ruling is a vindication of the caution I called on the Clerk of Parliament to have exercised if he was minded to do so. And that also tells you the kind of politics those of us in the National Democratic Congress will play. We can understand that in every political party there will be people who would want the party to have its way, even if it is against the rule of law. But there are many of us in the National Democratic Congress who respect the rule of law and will do everything within our power to assist the president to uphold same. And the judgment or the suspension order given by the Supreme Court and how we welcomed that decision, even as a ruling party, should tell you that the National Democratic Congress is different. Again, my brother talks about the need for the NDC to concentrate on governance. And I was struggling to understand whether indeed my brother appreciates the full complement of what governance is or ought to be. Because the issue of by-elections is still part of governance. It is a constitutional creation. It is not the NDC or the NPP that sat in their respective party head offices to declare by-elections. It is a constitutional injunction. It is the Constitution that stipulates that if there is a vacancy, you need to go through a rerun or by-election in line with acceptable governance practices. So if you saw NDC party executives already in Pandai working, it is simply in fulfillment
I'm not trying to cut.
of that responsibility to govern.
I didn't say they don't have a right to be there. I'm saying that some of the commentary
Nana,
was unnecessary. Oh, no, but it doesn't have to be.
Eric,
Yeah.
are you going to allow this? So, Eric, please calm down. Please calm down. After you have your time. So, clearly, it is inaccurate to invite the government to concentrate on governance when the government is actually concentrating on governance. And by-elections and the conduct of same is an integral part of the governance architecture. So it is not outside governance. It is part of governance. In any case, what utterances were made by NDC leading members that you consider unacceptable? Give me an example of one utterance that you would consider unacceptable. That was there was going to be a contest. Political parties say all kinds of things to ginger their base and to even assure themselves that they would win. Have they said anywhere that will kill each other? Have they said anywhere that won't allow the MPP to campaign? Where has it been said that will rig the elections? So what are you talking about? Needless commentary. Is it the declaration that NDC will do everything within our power and within the legal remedies of this country to win the Pandai seat that you consider untoward? What is wrong with such a declaration? A bold declaration by a political party? Is it the declaration by the NDC executives that everybody should come out for us to win back that seat and prove a point that indeed we won it the first time? How is that problematic? These were the comments made. These were the comments made. If there are comments that we consider unacceptable, it would be comments that were made by many of your social media handlers and commentators. And that's why I decided not to talk about it until you brought this. Many of them were those who were reading all kinds of meanings into the beehive, attack on certain people within the constituency. And reading all kinds of meanings into it. We didn't start it. We didn't do it. So, if you had a befitting response,
General Secretary of the party has accused the MPP.
Yes, and so if the Deputy General Secretary proceeds on the basis of what your people were churning out to accuse you of knowing something about that attack, you are at liberty to deny. And the NPP denied not to. They said they were not behind it. They had not brought in any malams. But you know it is a fact that during elections, political parties engage in all manner of things. Malams may not be critical in an election in, say, Ayawaso West Wagon because of the cosmopolitan nature of the constituency. But when you go to constituencies that are religiously tilted and believe in many of these spiritual undertones, you cannot discount the role of men of God and malams in the politics, because they believe it. Myself and you may not believe it. Are you getting the point I'm making? So when we sit in Accra and we listen to such commentary, we are like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But you would be amazed to go down there and the people who churn those things out actually believe it. You see, yes, and they'll tell you that about, you see, as we speak today, even in the Asante culture, there are people who would doubt the fact that Asante, what's the name? The Queen Mother. The one who conjured the golden stool. Is that right?
Yeah.
There are people who would doubt it, that story. And there are those who are Asantes who would believe it to the high heavens. Maybe if I go to London or go somewhere and say, they will laugh at me. But as an Asante, I probably believe it, if I happen to be one. There are myths around the Yendi skin or the Dagombes that we grew up with and believed. But I'm not sure I'll sit on this platform and say, because you will look at me as a madman. So that is why I'm telling you that, look, we may discount the relevance of such political commentary in Accra because our circumstances are different. But to the people there, probably something like that is critical when it comes to their politics. You can't discount it. And that's what politicians are subjected to.
Right.
So I don't think that Mustafa Gbande said something out of the ordinary, especially when he was speaking from that constituency. And so he was simply relaying feedback he got from that constituency. Feedback myself and you might consider quite strange and go like, about Mustafa, you of all people, why would you talk about this thing? But he was simply relaying information he got from the people. And the MPP also came out to deny it. Fair and fair. There's absolutely nothing illegal about what he said. Nothing illegal. And that cannot be misconstrued as hitting the political temperature.
It does not have the tendency to
absolutely not
trigger
I do not think so. I do not think so. Retaliation in which way?
But if a deputy general secretary of the NDC is alleged
if the NDC can also retaliate, then they should also find a way of bringing bees.
Maybe you bring scorpions. How do
they don't have them. That's why I'm saying that. Because the people did not, the MPP, if the story is true, did the MPP go to physically assault them or attack any of them? Absolutely no. So if NDC people should behave in a way that is unacceptable, be rest assured that we'll condemn it. And the law enforcement agencies will be tasked to do their work. So, Nana, look, all the activities the NDC engaged in since the declaration of vacancy, I can tell you on authority that all those activities were lawful in nature. And it constituted part of the governance architecture of this country. Right. And so we did not do anything untoward. Like I indicated in my submission, look, the Supreme Court has given an order. As a law-abiding political party that operates under the laws of the Republic of Ghana, we have accepted the direction of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And many of us, in principle, in fact, yesterday when I heard it, I was excited because I was like, this is what I want to see in this country. I want to see our institutions truly independent and being able to hand down judgments, especially when it comes to the judiciary, without any political consideration. And that was what the Supreme Court did yesterday. I cannot help but thank the new Chief Justice for sending this strong signal that he would preside over a justice architecture that would be non-partisan in nature.
Right.
And that would not give reason for the ordinary people of this country to doubt judgments that are coming from the courts. In the past, we hardly saw things of this nature. We hardly.
Will you be campaigning while you wait for the all matters around this thing to be conclusively resolved?
No, but then
It will be illegal to campaign.
Yeah, but what are you campaigning for? I mean, they've been asked to. I mean, but our friends say that it actually gives them more time to campaign, and so it should tell you the mindset. But anyway, he says that there's nothing untoward there. But I believe strongly that there's nothing to be campaigning for. That the Electoral Commission itself has been asked to cease all activities pertaining to that rerun, right? So you have to wait for the determination of the matter before you go in there. Of course, there's nothing that prevents people within a community or a constituency to engage each other and all of that. But you cannot proceed on the basis of campaigning as if that is actually an imminent election. So as far as I'm concerned, that advice should probably go to our friends here that to even make the pronouncement that gives you an extended period to go and campaign actually flies in the face of what the Supreme Court is asking. And you see, whilst it's important that sometimes we situate these conversations in the legality of it and they have every right to do whatever, we also have some nuances when it comes to various communities and how we coexist and all of that. So you do not want a situation where now you proceed into the constituency and then it creates some kind of chaos or whatever that we now have to have time to come and resolve or send security there and all that. So it's unnecessary. I mean, I believe strongly that there shouldn't be any indecent haste to almost anticipate what is going to happen, but allow the processes to come to its logical conclusion. And the one is done and the determination is made and they believe that there has to be a rerun, I'm sure that you can go back in there and do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. Because the peace of this country for me is extremely important. You understand? I've seen some persons holding placards and all that, even resisting the rerun to start with, saying that, I mean, they went into an election, they voted for Honorable Nindam, he's won, and they don't want any rerun. So just imagine, that's what you're showing on your screens there. So just imagine that, I mean, now this court has made this pronouncement, and then some persons are already still in the various constituencies. It takes one individual to do something untoward, and then it would actually degenerate or escalate into something that we don't want. So I think we should leave it as it is, and then allow the democracy to work.
At this point, we lock our doors, we put our bags behind closed doors.
Let them come back home.
Yeah, I think that is the highest respect we can give the orders of the Supreme Court as political parties. And so the National Democratic Congress will abide by that order, like I indicated earlier. And well, as for utterances like it's giving us more time to campaign and stuff like that, politicians can say so.
Actually, today you're giving too much room to some of these things.
If you do so, and you are caught, especially when you are not supposed to be campaigning and you are complaining, trust me that the National Democratic Congress as a political party will not come to your aid, because as far as we are concerned, there's a suspension. There's not going to be any election on the 30th or 31st. Was it 30th, right?
30th January.
30th
December.
Yeah. There's not going to be any election on that said date. And so nobody has any business campaigning in Bandai. And so the status quo remains. Let us wait for the eventual determination, hopefully by the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court on the matter. And we can proceed. At this stage, I think that it will be the Supreme Court, because even the Court of Appeal would be waiting for the direction of the Supreme Court on the matter. So let us be patient and let us wait for that outcome. And like I indicated, as a law-abiding political party, we would do everything in our power to respect it. But as for court judgments, when they are handed down and you even disagree with it, and you embark on demonstrations like we are seeing on our screens, saying that you disagree with it, it is with your constitutional right to do so. And so the NPP was well within their constitutional right to demonstrate in Bandai against the judgments of the court. as a manifestation of their disagreements. But your disagreements are not the law. A decision was made by the High Court judge, and no amount of demonstrations would have been able to stop that particular decision, except that of another lawful court order, like the Supreme Court has done in this instance with a suspension. So we must appreciate that and know that this country is one governed by laws, and we have a government that is sensitive to the laws of this country. We have a government that is ready to listen. We have a president who understands that the independence of governance institutions constitute a critical component of acceptable governance, and would not do anything to undermine these state institutions, like we heard in the past, attempts by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to interfere with the work of the OSP, both under Martin Alamisi Amidu and that of, what's his name? Kisia Jeben. We also witnessed how unethically an Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana influenced court decisions by going out of his way to engage with witnesses that he ought not to have been speaking with. Under normal circumstances, that would have been reasonable grounds to even demand his resignation, but that was not done. Times are different. We have a new leader with a focus and a vision. We have a new government that is committed to resetting the country in a way that we all can be proud of, so that my brother, when he's aggrieved by a government decision, can get up and go to court and be sure that that court will give him justice, like the court gave them partial justice yesterday. That is the country we promised. And I'm glad that His Excellency President Mahama and the NDC are delivering on that promise. That even the MPP today is happy about judgments emanating from the court.
I think, I don't want us to digress, but you know, the double speak, and I mean, also creating that impression that, I mean, maybe we are all sort of ignorant to how these things are panning out. Same conversation around now there's a new Chief Justice and is actually superintending over a judiciary that's supposed to be fair. I mean, now apart from the logic that is warped, right? Every single person within the judicial service, apart from the former Chief Justice, and I still think that, I mean, the processes that even led to her removal is still problematic, and that, I mean, she was hounded out on very flimsy reasons, and that judgment is there. I mean, and posterity will be the best judge. Everybody else is still within the judicial service, so how is it that just the mere changing of a Chief Justice that all of a sudden moves all these judges or all these few persons within the judicial service have now become more forthright and they become more objective in times when it comes to the issuing of judgments and all of that? I mean, I don't believe so. You know?
Perhaps he brings a different type of...
No, but that's what I'm saying. But these are seasoned the justices on the Supreme Court, who the five who sat on this matter. These are seasoned justices who have been, some of them have even sat through various presidents and all of that. They were appointed by some former presidents and they sat through, and they've gone, some of them have been there for over 3 terms of different presidents. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think that sometimes when you make this, what it means is that you are bringing into question previous judgments that were done. You understand? You cannot pick and choose. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, there are issues within the judicial system. We all appreciate that there have been talk of corruption and all of those things and bias and all of that. But I believe strongly that as a democracy, whilst we do all the constitution, you guys are the lawyers, it's also important that the perception of that we create about institutions, especially an arm of government, should be sacrosanct, so that it doesn't create the impression that at any point in time, willingly we can change. Now, talking about attorney generals and how they operate and all of those things, I don't want us to degenerate this conversation into that. This is a government. This is a government that almost every single case that was pertaining within the judicial system under their watch, under the SWAL NPP, the new Attorney General came in and filed nolle prosequi on all of them. Every single one of them. No case, this, that, every single one of them. And then in the same breath, decided that I have new people, these are MPP people who were part of the SWAL NPP campaign, and I'm going to go after them. What kind of, I mean, just take a cursory observation of it. What kind of signal are you sending? Even to the point where an OSP that was set up by President Akufo-Addo is now being hounded by the same protagonists within your political party, to the point where even a private member's bill was sent to Parliament, or it was being prepared to be taken to Parliament, and had to even take the intervention of the president. And even that one, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
You have a majority leader, plus
who's the leader of government business.
Leader of government business, plus a majority
chief whip.
Majority leader sits in cabinet. Can you tell me that the first time that the president heard about an attempt to take this bill to Parliament was when it came into the public domain? You understand? So this smokes and mirrors and all these, sophistry, when it comes to governance. I mean, sometimes some of us can see through some of these things. You understand what I'm saying? Are you saying that somebody within your establishment here, right, maybe yourself, can now proceed to go and set up something and all of that without the knowledge of Bernard and Samens, and then Samens will come in on radio and say, oh, I disagree with Nana, and I've asked Nana to read. I mean, come on. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you see, we understand the politics. Like he said several, even in politics, you can say this, you can do this, and all of that. But the reality is that if you're grounded in principle, we shouldn't even get here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Of course, and like I said, I respect the fact that the Ghanaian people have given you a mandate to govern. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody that does anything to even put obstacles in your way, it's not a proper citizen. It's not somebody that we should encourage. Do you know what I'm saying? And we will not countenance that. But focus. But the moment you now get distracted and you're now throwing stones at the governments that the Ghanaian people decide that we would want them to step aside because we're unhappy with how they were governing, then there's a problem. Because if you say 20 things, I can find you a plethora of examples that suggest that you're not being consistent and you're not being principled. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we should move away from the name calling and all of this, because I can find like a million examples, right? But like I said, the focus is that you have a mandate, you have another 3 years, focus and govern.
Right. Hamza.
Nana, first of all, Eric needs to appreciate that leadership is essential when it comes to organizational reform and change. And so you cannot sit here and undermine the relevance of leadership when it comes to institutional reform.
Undermine everybody in the judicial service
system
apart from the Chief Justice.
Don't do this. When we are speaking, don't do this. You need to respect our views, please. So you need to understand that this is common. The qualities of a leader matters. Mind you, again, we did not just change as a republic. The country did not just change a Chief Justice. They changed an entire government prior to the change of the Chief Justice, because they were unhappy with many of the decisions that were coming from all sectors of our Ghanaian state. And that included the judiciary. So if you want to limit the reform and the sudden satisfaction as a political party you are beginning to get in the judiciary to just the change of the Chief Justice alone, you will be missing the bigger picture, because there was an entire change of the executive arm of government. And even with the Chief Justice and the reforms that he's introducing, remember that it's not only the Chief Justice who was changed. Even the Judicial Secretary is a new person who has been mandated. the new Chief Justice has set up an entire secretariat, new, to be able to bring about that public confidence in the judiciary that he's proceeding to lead, or he has started leading. And so you cannot sit here and undermine the role of that significant change as far as the reset agenda is concerned, and the sudden satisfaction you and your political party are beginning to get in the judiciary, even from opposition, without attributing same to the work so far of the new Chief Justice, and to a very large extent, His Excellency the President and the entirety of the government. You can't do so. When we talk about interference by an appointee of government, no less a person than the Attorney General, but the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, and you seek to equate that to the filing of nolle prosequis, you are missing the bigger picture. We are talking about fundamental rights of Ghanaian citizens and how important that is when it comes to the rule of law. Not interfering to get judgments that are unacceptable. And so if the Attorney General feels that for 8 years you persecuted Ghanaian citizens on the basis of assumptions and not evidence, that cannot stand the test of law, and decides lawfully to file a nolle prosequi, it is still within the legal, what's the name? It is still within the legal system of our country, and it's acceptable and it's constitutional. If such applications are made to protect the rights of the of what we call those citizens, forget the fact that they are NDC people, they are citizens of Ghana. If the former Attorney General or the immediate past Attorney General had engaged with the likes of Jakpa, intending to protect rights of citizens, I wouldn't have had a problem with him. But he was engaging, and so that distinction is important. He was engaging in an attempt to secure a conviction. That is a restriction of the rights of an innocent citizen of the Republic of Ghana, in the person of Dr. Ato Forson. The gentleman now salvaging our economy. An economy that for 8 years you guys couldn't salvage. And so you realize that if he had succeeded in that unethical conduct, the cost wouldn't have been just to the NDC and the family members of Dr. Ato Forson, but the cost could have been on the entirety of the country. Would have missed this golden opportunity to reset the economy that we are all enjoying, and who you too, as a political party, are benefiting from. And so, Eric, let us understand that no matter how you spin it, this is a government that the people are happy with. This is a government that has signaled that it will be different. And you cannot communicate that difference without comparative analysis. That is why, again, every first year student of political science knows that comparative politics is key when it comes to decision making. And so when we do comparative analysis of this current government as against the previous government, it is not an exercise in mediocrity. It is indeed an essential exercise intended to let people understand that there's indeed change, and that this government will not repeat the mistakes of the government that the people voted out of power. Right. It is acceptable.
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Why are you cutting me when I'm just getting started?
I have been talking for the last 15
let me take a quick break. Let me take a quick break here. I'll come back and then we'll continue the discussions. But you can also send your comments in. Send us your thoughts and your contributions. This is Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Verna is clean, fresh and safe. I'm holding my Verna bottle. No plastic seal, no worries. Open and hear the sound like click. That sound means it's fresh, no trick. No plastic seal, but it's still pure. Cool and clean, you can be sure. Verna leads the brighter way. What takes my doubt away? If it clicks, it's Verna. stress, just sip. Chalet Verna, no stress, just sip.
This advert is FDA approved.
Love the Premier League? Your DSTV premium subscription could get you there in real life, Charlie. Stay connected for your chance to watch the Premier League live. Man U versus Man City at Old Trafford or Arsenal versus Man U in London. Stay connected to score with DSTV Premium. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, Auntie Abena. You won't believe what just happened. Grandma received her 4 TV. 4 TVs? Yes, 4.
Okay, I'm coming. Kojo me there, Wahi. It's like a scandal now. You are using it to spread grandma like that.
Spread grandma?
4 TVs, 2 fridges, microwave. Abba, Kojo, why? Do you want to open an electrical shop for her?
Hey, no! It's a regular 100 cities I send her.
I'm sure it's Uncle Atu.
Let's call him.
Atu, why?
Atu,
why are you spreading a grandma with appliances? Why?
Me? Spread who? When? How? Please, it could be Amma.
Let's call Amma.
Let me call her.
Hello?
Amma, why?
What are you saying?
Appliances for grandma, no. Why?
Hey, it's not me, oh.
There are some that are critical.
Let's call grandma.
Let's call grandma.
Hello?
Hey, grandma. So who is buying all those stuff for you?
Call me Granny Cash. Grandma know the joke, the luckiest. If they do me 5 pounds per year. When I buy ticket 100 cities, I pay them small or big. I automatically get my free gift.
Hey, sir! Yes, so with the luckiest, anytime you buy tickets up to 100 seats, whether small or at once, you are guaranteed to win a free gift. TV sets, fridges, hampers, airtime, cash. Remember to dial *712#, choose option 4 and follow the prompt. With the luckiest, everybody wins. Even Granny Cash.
The National Petroleum Authority hereby cautions persons engaged in illicit storage and trading of petroleum products to comply with the regulatory requirements to operate in the downstream petroleum industry. The NPA Act clearly stipulates that no individual shall engage in any commercial activity related to the importation, exportation, re-exportation, shipment, transportation, processing, refining, storage, distribution, marketing, or sale of petroleum products in the downstream industry without first obtaining a license from the NPA board. Failure to secure the necessary license and properly regularize operations will result in confiscation of petroleum products, prosecution under the law, and decommissioning of facility. For more information, contact the National Petroleum Authority on 0302 550 380. You can also visit our head office located at Jolu off the N1 highway or any of our regional offices.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. We're having the news review segment. Hamza Suhini is here. Eric Chum is also here. And you watching us have the opportunity to send us your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. This message here is from Ahmed Inima, and he says, "Good morning, Anna. Dr. Bawumia has demonstrated quality and technical know-how during his tenure as Vice President. He has been the most successful and hardworking VP in the history of our Fourth Republic compared to his predecessors." Okay. You can also send us your thoughts and contributions. Let us know what you think. Yesterday, something very historic happened. The lead mediator, or if you like, the sole mediator in the Bawku peace process, the Otumfuo, Osei-Tutu II, presented a report of the mediation process to His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama. Otumfuo stood on his feet for close to an hour and read out the entire report, giving historical as well as constitutional, if like, antecedents, and to establish the legitimacy of the Bawku Naba. And he asked that we enforce the laws to ensure peace in Bawku. What did you make of the entire mediation process and the presentation to the President?
I think that those are the days where it makes you extremely proud as a Ghanaian, and the fact that we've also adopted a system to govern ourselves that still gives a certain level of importance to our traditional systems and then our traditional rulers and all of that. And I find the leadership of Otumfuo extremely exemplary, and how he has even led the process and has maintained a very high sense of, if like, neutrality, so that the two factions are comfortable to be able to sit around the table and go through this process that, came to its finality yesterday. I hope that this would draw a line forever when it comes to that particular conflict. By virtue of what I do and as a politician, and even prior to politics, I've been to all these places. And these are very beautiful places. And if you take your time to even listen to the folklore and the tales and the history of Bawku and how important that particular place is in our historical antecedents and all of that, as a trading post and all of that. And where we find it today, even if though I don't come from there, it's actually sad that we've allowed it to degenerate to this point. So I believe that the processes are supposed to be commended. And the two key protagonists should allow peace to prevail. Like in any negotiation of that sort, you'll still have certain persons who will not be entirely happy with the outcomes. But then again, going forward, when peace prevails and we're able to live together as one people, I think that these things over a period would dissipate, and life over there will come to the normalcy, and then the place will become more vibrant, and then whatever it is that they were doing there in the past would also, grow. I've been there several times. I was there during the last elections and everything. And Nana, if you're almost every 200-300 meters that you travel, you see military presence and all of that. And whilst it's there to ensure security and the safety of the people, nobody wants to live in an environment where it's quite intimidating and all of that. And then even with that, every now and then there's some skirmishes and all of that. Young people, doctors and nurses and other essential workers are posted to these places and they don't want to go. Secondary schools are shut. So, it goes beyond the conflict in terms of the factionalism or whatever it is. But then it actually percolates all the way to everyday life. People going to their farms, investments and all of that. So, and I believe that when you put all of these things together, the sum of these things, I mean, should supersede any, if you like, personal grief or grievances or, I mean, displeasure that you have. That let's allow peace to prevail. And I think that by and large, as time goes on, the life will come back to that. I mean, because when you read the history, there's been a lot of intermarriages. It used to be, that's what I'm saying. There was no clear distinction between who is who and all of those things. And I believe that
yesterday during the presentation, Otunfo mentioned that during the mediation, one on one side pointed to the other, that by you, I was drinking pito with you the other day.
Exactly. You know, and for me, I think that is, and then you see the bigger picture as well is that sometimes some of these things have a tendency to also move to other places and then escalate in other parts of the country and all that. So it's something that should be of importance to all of us. It can't be that, oh, it's happening in Boku, so you understand. It is important. It's something that I believe that we should all be passionate about. So the processes have gone, we have to commend the government. I mean, when it comes to these things, we have to commend the government for also showing commitment and everything. But whilst you're doing that, there's also admonishment that is going to certain key players within that particular enclave who are still political actors. You know, so whilst you're commending this and this process has been ushered in and this new dawn has been ushered in, that admonishment should still stay, whereby political actors, you know, I don't want to mention names. I mean, there are a couple of people that even the Otunfo himself mentioned that are still coming up with commentary and all of that. And I believe that it's difficult, it's hard. Some of these things are very entrenched, you understand? And for anybody to feel that they're being either marginalized or whatever, it's not something that you can just, wish away. However, I believe that we have to allow peace to prevail. And even the issues with economic activities, like I indicated earlier, and young people getting about and doing their own stuff and sending essential workers there and all of that becomes something that nobody would now say that, if you're being posted to Boku or whatever, I don't want to go, or in all of that. So, and then it will eventually would inure to the benefit of the generality of the people, right? And I mean, I listened to the speech of the Otunfo. The report is a very thorough work that has been done and everything. But again, of course, that's the highlight and the climax. It still requires a lot of work, a lot of making sure that you put your ears on the ground, and if there are any issues or fallouts, then it's quickly resolved. You understand? Because you might have isolated. We can't kid ourselves that because this thing has been done, all of a sudden, then people who have certain grievances or had expressed disquiet over the period would cease. But we have to be very quick to nip everything that actually comes out in the bat, so that it doesn't escalate. Then all the work that has been done now comes to
he did actually request of the president to allow room for further engagement.
Exactly, right. And then at the very,
so it's not like it's ended
at the very like granular level and all of that, even schools, children, debates, the same class, you know, stuff like that, sports activities, you know, form a team that, you know, so then gradually, you know, then it becomes one of those things where, I mean, they grow with it, you understand? Otherwise, you know, sometimes some of these entrenched positions and these issues with discrimination and mindset are actually passed on by the older folks, you understand? So if you allow these young people to coexist, to live in an environment and go to the same school and all of those things, I believe that over the period it would change. But I was extremely excited about it. I mean, it's similar to Hamza was even making allusions to what happened in in all of those, and then there's peace. And I mean, if you go there, I remember prior to 2017 or 2016, the one time I went to Yendi, and like I had this whole perception about the place. and there was a little bit of maybe like anxiety. Now over the period, if I go there, I don't even remember that there was something of that sort.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think that we are one people. The things that actually bring us together are more than the things that divide, that separate us. And I believe that. I mean, I hope as well that this particular one will last. Right? Because apart from everything, apart from the national security implication, even the cost to the state. I mean, if they tell you in terms of national security and whatever, how much resources goes into maintaining this peace and all that, that can go into other things, and even if the same catchment area, if it goes into agriculture, farming input, schools, hospitals and all of that, that would be of more benefit to the people than money is wasted.
Hamza, how much of a relief does this bring?
Oh, Nana, for me, I think that the committee did an excellent job. And I will not focus on the contents of what they presented to His Excellency President Mahama, except to say that whatever the outcome is as we know now, we all must do everything within our individual capabilities to support the peace process in Boku, irrespective of wherever we find ourselves. I'm a little bit apprehensive when it comes to commenting on religious and ethnic issues of this nature, but except to say that, look, they have done an excellent job. And Otumfuo himself indicated that after they ensure that people are able to go about their daily activities within the Boku municipality peacefully, without any threat to their life. Look, educational institutions are suffering. Utility providers within the municipality are struggling. Many other public services are on its knees because of the issue of insecurity. So it must be in the interest of each and every one of us to support the committee and government to ensure that we find lasting peace in Boku. We do not need to give lectures of the implications of conflict on our own development, because the people there, they live it on a daily basis and they can see the havoc it has caused them. So that practical experience is enough teacher when it comes to the effects of conflict on a community. And so at this critical moment, we can only pray for them and hope that they respect the recommendations of the committee, and government is also able to marshal the needed force behind these recommendations to ensure that it is implemented to the latter. Like I indicated, not everybody would be happy. In Dagbon, when it was resolved, the initial stages, not everyone was happy. But as I speak with you today, the feelings of pain, disappointment appears to be vanishing by the day. And we are getting closer to each other than we experienced somewhere in 2002. So there's progress. Some of these things, it is only time that can heal our disappointments or satisfaction. Even those who would feel that they have come out of this process as victors, with time will realize that there's actually nothing to celebrate. It's just in search of peace. And we are now together. That is much more exciting than who won what and who lost what. Time has a way of dealing with many of these issues, especially if we are able to prevent the conflicts from escalating and embark on this path that has been recommended. And to the extent that it worked in Dagbon, I am quite convinced that it will work in Boku as well, provided that we remain committed to it. But we all must be mindful of the kind of commentary we run on the issue. Otherwise, our commentary risks on the future now, today and on the future, how to move forward. And I'm making this admonition not just to the major political players like the NDC and the MPP, I think to even the smaller political parties, because they all have rules when it comes to the Boku conflict. So we all must learn that whatever was said in the past, it should be treated as a thing of the past. This is a new chapter. And that new chapter invites us to be responsible in our commentary. It invites us to be more responsive to the needs of the Boku people and be more committed to peace than what we pretended to be doing in the past as political players. Now is the golden opportunity for us to effectively deal with the Boko crisis, and hopefully, God will be on our side on this journey.
Very well. Al-Haji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. Congratulations to Otumfuo and his mediation team. He did it for the good people of Dagbon and now the good people of Boko. No wonder the president described him as a state asset. And I was particularly happy to hear the president say that a white paper will be issued on this matter within 24 hours. This goes to show how serious the president is concerned about the peace in Boko. I'd like to advise politicians to be very careful in their commentary in this peace building process in Boko. The good people of Boko have suffered enough, and it's time we give peace a chance for development to take place. Well, that's Al-Haji Hamza from Pig Farm. Let's go to Parliament now, and brief comments on yesterday. Anna Dompre made a call for a presidential, or if like a ministerial reshuffle. One of the reasons he ascribed is the fact that some of the MPs who are ministers are too busy to attend upon invitations in the House to answer to questions in their sectors. Brief comments from you, Eric. 1 year in office, is there enough time to assess the works of the ministers to warrant a reshuffle?
I mean, I think that I would sort of tackle this one in a broader context of the conversations that some persons have had over the period, in terms of if we really want a clear separation of powers and the Parliament's oversight responsibility, we need to have a look at that. I mean, the proponents of making the argument that as a minister you shouldn't be an MP, and so that you focus on the parliamentary business, and then also clear, I mean, separation of powers. Others have made the argument that it makes sense and it helps with a smooth, if you like, transition between the government and the legislature and everything. I'm sort of shifting towards the clear separation, to be honest with you. But this is what we have at the moment, and so we'd have to make do with it. Unfortunately, the prerogative of a reshuffle sits with the president. So you can, of course, make the call that you can make your own, prefer your views and opinions on the matter, but that prerogative always sits with the president. And they serve at the pleasure of the president. So if he feels that he's excited about whatever it is that they're delivering, I mean, it's extremely difficult to convince otherwise. I mean, we've been on this path before, but I think that in all honesty, the conversation should not necessarily be about what Honorable Anna Dompre is advocating or suggesting, but as a people, we need to, I mean, after 30 years or so, 30 something years, using this same constitution and architecture, or governance architecture, can we have a proper dispassionate conversation about this thing and how it affects even governance and all that, and then even the work of Parliament, and sometimes even issues to do with conflict of interest. And you have a minister who is a member of Parliament. You have to take some of these things to the committees to superintend over, to supervise. You have a committee in Parliament that is government assurance and all of that. And so it's a bit, to be honest with you, it's a bit murky, right? And so if we can start having proper conversation around that, I know that several governments have attempted this whole constitutional review, and every now and then it comes, the conversation comes up, and we sort of seem to forget about it when we come into office. I've always used this example. I remember when we were in opposition in 2016, 2015, thereabout, I was a NPP's policy analyst, and I was also working in tandem with the IEA, and then there was a few, the NDC also had reps there and all of that, and we used to discuss every day we used to discuss this winner takes all conversation and everything.
Yeah.
And I've joked that when we came into office, we never had that conversation again. And then the tables turned and everything.
Yeah.
And then the NDC were in opposition, and then they were talking about winner takes all and how, and with support from some development partners and all of that, trying to put together a system that would make governance more inclusive, not necessarily that like a one party per se, but people who have the expertise and all of those things to be able to run this thing, so that it doesn't become political. But we forget about it anytime we come into office. But I believe that going forward, we'd probably have to come back to this conversation. So that's my comment on that.
Let me pick Hamza's thoughts briefly on this matter. Call for a reshuffle.
You see, Nana, sometimes it is worrying listening to the NPP front bench, because any time they open their mouths to speak in Parliament, they give enough justification as to why they shouldn't be occupying the front seat. I'm being honest with you. Because if you listen to the reason behind the call for a reshuffle, are you not embarrassed by that reasoning? We are operating under a constitution. And the constitution stipulates that a certain percentage of ministers ought to come from Parliament.
Yeah.
And your excuse or your reason for calling for reshuffle is to the effect that some of the ministers are so busy that they cannot come to Parliament. So on the basis of that, the president should reshuffle them. The law, even the rules of Parliament, allows you to go through a certain procedure to have them appear before you. And until yesterday, when were we ever told as a republic that they were looking for a particular minister who has not appeared in Parliament? We've seen ministers answering questions in Parliament. So it was a strange
case in
call.
reference is the Food and Agriculture Minister, Eric Opoku.
Yes, but that is the point I am making. The rules of Parliament allows you to call him, to have him appear before Parliament and answer questions. And if you call on him the first time he doesn't, there's another laid down procedure based on which you can get the answers. That's one. Two, the minority cannot determine to this government how to run the affairs of state, especially when it comes to appointments and reshuffles. It is the prerogative of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to do. At any point in time he feels that it is appropriate for him to do such reshuffles, he will do it. Remember, we are coming at the back of a government of which they were part. How many times did they do reshuffle? Even when the entirety of their party at a point was now calling on the president to do reshuffle. How many times? Look, President Mohammed's government the first time became their standard of reference when they were calling on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to consider doing reshuffle. If you remember, people warmed chairs in ministries for 8 good years, doing virtually nothing, but they were kept at post. These guys did not have the decency of prompting His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that this was quite problematic and unacceptable. Until 2024, when it was obvious that they were about to lose. And so they decided to sacrifice the likes of Ken Ofori-Atta and called for his head. So they should spare us that gymnastics.
Very well.
At any point in time, His Excellency President Mahama is of the view that there's a need for him to do a reshuffle. He would do a reshuffle. It will not be because Anodampre is calling for the president to do a reshuffle.
Very well.
Absolutely not.
Well, Hamza, thank you. We'll have to leave it here. Eric, thank you so much. And thank you to you for being part of the show. But we are not ending now. Philip and Chris Carter will take over from here. Don't go away.
get bad mind, no be say you be baddest. Come on, what tell
Rubia, say dear, if you see Conan Yankasa, Enti, Kanena near Bosili, Madame Yashem, Nina, Akem, a Nasboy Enterprise, SMN Control say, what's you fear ye? We hear POP ceiling papa, with many design, plasterboard installation, TV unit design, a Cassian Kitwa, and Italian Ahudwina, or Beckening needs at the amount. Afi, was Sansuya painting, into a damn be a was here, who fret a Nasboy Enterprise. You will paint in the comma at the amount. Afi, window designs bia, Yading in a Biana would say, Ubesifi, the Fina Ubisian so, who here the Subi Mada, a Nasboy Enterprise, SCT, say residential and the commercial construction. Afi, where renovation and remodeling, surveying bia open, or any comma at the amount. Afi, architectural designs are called Chicobre, my buyer, and the drawing plans, or by any needs at the amount. Minya Berima, Mame come for a Nasboy Enterprise and for more. It's all say, when him did, Nan in Sunny affair. Come on, NT, so open him, Mama Bosunina, Ejumadia, a Nasboy Enterprise, no show needs, located a Nasboy Enterprise, our Tantra Hill, Amasamai, and the Ablikuma, Canada Junction, so open Shimwa, Fred, 034 611 3461. A Nasboy Enterprise, Woodimte, Ankasa.
Hello, Auntie Abena. You won't believe what just happened. Grandma received her 4 TV. 4
TVs?
Yes, 4.
Okay, I'm coming. It's like a scandal now. You are using it to spread grandma like that.
Spread grandma?
4 TVs, 2 fridges, microwave, Abba. Kojo, why? Do you want to open an electrical shop for her?
Hey, no. It's a regular 100 cities I send her.
I'm sure it's Uncle Atu.
Let's call him.
Atu? Why?
Atu?
Why are you spreading a grandma with appliances?
Me? Spread who? When? How? Please, oh, it could be Amma.
Let's call Amma.
Let me call her.
Hello?
Amma, why?
What are you saying?
Appliances for grandma, no. Why?
Hey, it's not me, oh.
There are some that are critical.
Let's call grandma.
Hello?
Hey, grandma. So who is buying all those stuff for you?
Call me Granny Cash. Grandma know the joke, the luckiest. If they do me 5 times per year. When I buy ticket 100 cities, I pay them small or big. I automatically get my free gift.
Hey, sir! Yes, so with the luckiest, anytime you buy tickets up to 100 cities, whether small or at once, you are guaranteed to win a free gift. TV sets, fridges, hampers, airtime, cash. Remember to dial *712#, choose option 4 and follow the prompt. With the luckiest, everybody wins. Even Granny Cash.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
Join our family for AFCON Morocco 2025 from 21 December to 18 January. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
This Christmas, let the road you travel lead you to a place where comfort meets magic. Welcome to Peduasi Valley Resort, where the ultimate Christmas experience awaits. Indulge in a relaxing massage at our luxurious lavender spa or revitalize yourself with a refreshing workout at our fitness center. We promise the most rejuvenating Christmas ever. Savor sumptuous continental and local breakfast options to begin your day right. Our lunch and dinner buffet with the live band music offer the finest Christmas delicacies to make your festive season unforgettable. Don't miss our special Super Soul night and DJ night with friends. Ready for some adventure? Explore our zoo and playground where fun knows no bounds. When it's time to wind down, take advantage of our special room packages available exclusively this festive season. For reservations, call 0540-125-555 or 0540-125-554. Peduasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Unbelievable. Said you have a city and the Amama Kai or baby and home. Wow! Hello, Miss World.
Hello, Ajimara.
Now I hear now what to say.
Me who yo, Madam for be ho our classy.
Mene ne ye nneɛma dɔ so.
Menya na nka me wo Ghana. Nanso me to, me na wiase a na mabepie electronic shop bi a kyerɛ sɛ sɛdeɛ hɔ facility no na ohunfo nyini ɛna etwa wɔ mani so sei. Me ba, better gold, diamond, jewels, nickels, pearls, blankets, everything. I'm a
Gabriel. Shimmer of international waters. Hey!
Wow!
Obwa, onya bochire bia.
Obwa wani breno.
Yankwa na me kotro.
It's a broche nani.
Sister, Electroland Ghana Limited showroom for Frokrani. Kasi Kumase, Omo when you say Samsung, TCL, Media, and a NASCO product. I don't know when you go through. Omo on me able to say Kaswa, Asamai, Makasim, Tamale, Sprinters, Coca-Cola.
It's me and Kabati Chajuma Kutu, that's what me say about
me private jet no kwa. Be see me and me ba. Let's bygone be bygone. Hey, and near man mo pese mo yi no ha bia. Munyi
yo yebeyi.
Electroland Ghana, home of electronics and affordable luxury.
Hello everyone, it's Breakfast Daily right here on Channel 1 TV, and it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. As you all know, Nana Tufo-Boateng started up the show with some politics, and now it's time for us to get straight into the show, bringing you some information, some entertainment, and everything that consists of a beautiful, exciting morning show. My name is Chris Carter.
And I'm Philip Nilati, and you know, on Wednesdays, we focus on sanitation. And we tell you what is happening across the country that the government would have to pay attention to, and also what ourselves as citizens we would have to do. Today we are taking you to the central region. The Nkamfua dam site is on the radar. Let's bring you this report filed by our central regional correspondent Akwesi Ado, who filed this report. And this is actually a dam site that has really been in the news for some time, that the residents are saying that, well, it should be dealt with when it comes to the management, and also we should look at the fact that the assembly would have to do something about it. The management of the place is also under a particular company. We'll be speaking to the company as well to find out from all of them what really can be done about it. But let's bring you this report and later understand the details, and we will be able to give you updates on that. But you know, on the show on Wednesdays, like I indicated, we've spoken about a number of sanitation issues, but we went to Gekpon dam site last week, where the residents are complaining. Also, business owners are also complaining about the fact that the place is full.
That dam site, that whole report was actually very scary, because if nothing is done about it, I can imagine the landslide that will happen there. And especially with the fact that there was reference from what happened in Uganda, and we watched the video. Yeah. Obviously, we would not want any of that happening here in Ghana. Yeah. So I think the fact that we talk about these issues, like it's a good way to put the leaders or people in charge on their feet.
Yes. So let's bring you that report. Central Region in Nkamfua. Let's bring you the details.
The landfill site, commissioned in the 1990s, remains the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly's only final disposal site for all types of waste. Although the facility was initially intended to process human waste into compost, the project collapsed shortly after its launch. Despite this, the site continues to receive all human waste generated within the metropolis, creating an unpleasant and unhealthy environment for nearby residents.
Bora no mudu bubu amanda by fertilizer into who call a chise a one and almost see dying our for security gate down of Kama trap trench what has a the toilet machines baba formula fertilizer. First no na nyama kodo or wa obe grade ro obe spray how bank chrome now obe spray chrome. But America say that was an easy who be what watch.
A strong stench constantly emanates from the site, with swarms of flies hovering around the area. Residents say the conditions have made living in Kamfua unbearable.
The more than your mama, open a machine you are sent up Bukruman. But now it was very bad. Kuma from your ones in the year and one bubre. As at now, you can see your face problems.
Ironically, although the community hosts the metropolis' main waste disposal site, refuse containers are often not collected on time. Some frustrated residents shared their concerns with Channel 1 News.
Container no moments, no one summons the oil and kakra. Oya was the papa kroba, or bafa, babosum, wasn't it sweet? My run would do guma, none school or lugu foam. Oya Maya baka, Adisu would the female me quayan or the bum. Yarababa, in any cromafui, Naiya.
In recent years, the community experienced a deadly cholera outbreak, which residents attribute to the poor management of the landfill site. Fearing a possible recurrence and the spread of other sanitation-related diseases, residents are appealing for urgent intervention. Speaking to Channel 1 News, the assemblyman for the third region Kamfua electoral area, Benjamin Benya, appealed to authorities to relocate the landfill site away from the community.
Every resident of Nkamfua that you speak with will affirm that indeed the landfill site should be moved from Nkamfua to other places because Nkamfua has really developed and the situation or situating the landfill site in Nkamfua is not benefiting.
So that is a report you saw there filed by our Central Regional Correspondent Kwesi Ado, and the residents that they are asking that the Nkamfua dump site should be relocated. The big question we are asking is that relocated to where? Because I think there was a report I saw that was filed 11 years ago, and the same call was made by some of the residents to asking that that dump site should be relocated. But as we speak now, homes or houses are being built around so the place is becoming a developed area that the dump site can no more.
Very well. In Kamfua, the junction is just at the footprint of the road that leads to the Regional Coordinating Council. So that place is known as Third District, and then the local name for the community is in Kamfua. It used to be a rural community, but now it has recently expanded and it's a population getting bigger. There are new buildings that are also setting up in the area.
And with the dump site located there, when you visited the place, what information did you gather? Which communities bring their waste to the place? Is it just strictly communities within the Cape Coast metropolis, or there are other communities outside the metropolis?
So this landfill site serves communities within the Cape Coast metropolis. And so what that means, universities and other institutions all within Cape Coast, that is where waste ends up.
And with what we are seeing on the screen, is that to say that some sort of management is not being done? When you went there, did you see machines on the dump site that people were working?
I mean, dump there isn't also properly managed. It is not covered and it's in the open. And you can see that the site is really filled up. And for about, what we gathered is that for about 3 years, there hasn't been any proper management of the site. Because you know that according to regulations, at least within a specific period, there should be this level of management where maybe some salt is sent to cover the refuse that is dumped, and then fumigation is conducted even at the site and then within the entire community. But for 3 years, there's not been any compacting of the refuse. There hasn't been any fumigation of the dump site itself, there hasn't been fumigation in the Nkamfua community also. And so the situation is really getting worse, and people are worried or they are concerned that there may be the outbreak of some diseases. According to community members, in recent years, there was a cholera outbreak that killed 2 people from the community. And then the State Coast Teaching Hospital, which became the referral point for those who got infected, actually became overwhelmed, and people were refusing treatment from the birth laws and all that. And so these community members wouldn't want a similar situation to occur again, which is why they are calling on authorities to take action. The plan was that the human waste that was dumped there was going to be recycled into compost or fertilizer. That was in the 1990s when the site was officially commissioned. But the structure that was built for that particular purpose, as we sit now, can no longer be built. It collapsed because that particular compost project never happened until today. And so it is just the continued dumping of waste in the community that is just happening. And the community members are also worried that even though they are playing with the metropolitan waste, they themselves, the way they generate their community is not properly managed, because the container, the entire community has just a single container. It gets filled up, and for several weeks it is not collected. In fact, on the day we did this particular report, it was really difficult for myself standing beside some of these containers, beside the container, and then conducting interviews, because the sense that was emanating from that container was really awful. It was really difficult, that I nearly threw up. And you can imagine people living closer to this situation. This is not palatable, and it really makes life difficult for the people. And so the demand of the people really makes sense that at this point in time, authorities take action and ensure proper management of the site. Now, looking at the fact that Nkamfua is really expanding, the assembly member for the community, whom we spoke, Mr. Benya, is calling for the relocation of the dump site. Because in the 90s, when the site, or in the 90s when Nkamfua was spotted as the place for the final disposal of waste generated in the metropolis, Nkamfua was just a small, and now the community has expanded, and so the assembly member feels that the presence of the landfill site can no longer be tolerated, because it is creating an awful situation within the heart of the community.
All right, so what you're saying is that this place was commissioned around the 90s, right?
Exactly, correct.
Right, and if it's commissioned around the 90s, I'm sure around that time there were no houses or like the population was not much around it. So if people knew these areas was a place to commissioned to be a landfill site, why then do they build around it?
Every community seeks to develop or expand, and with the population increasing, people may want to build additional houses. Now, that particular part of State Coast has become a highly commercial zone, so far as owning an estate or land is concerned. And so there is this demand for land for the purpose of residential facilities. And so at this point, there is no way someone can control, development in the area. And so the community feels that, like, they also need their land to develop or expand their community. And for the fact that the land site is there, or the land site cannot impede their place to expand their community.
Right. Akwesi, let me find out from you, if the dump site, is it that people are allowed to dump there without any money taken from them. I say no charges or no fees, or people pay for dumping there.
There's a makeshift structure at the entry point to the refugee site. So mainly the tracks that dump waste there are those belonging to Zoom Life. And then the University of Texas, their waste trucks also dump refuse there. And then there are trucks from the People's Technical University as well. And there are these bicycles that go to dump waste there. What I know is that for the bicycles at the entry point, the queue, they pay to those who are manning the site.
I see.
So it is not like there is free of charge where everyone can just gather their waste and then send their waste and then dump it there. So this is something where some sort of revenue is generated. And for the little check that I made, the people who are manning the site are there in the name of the Texas Metropolitan Assembly. And so what that means is that whatever they generate goes to the assembly.
Okay. Akwesi, thank you so much for your time. Akwesi Ado is Central Regional Correspondent, and he went to this community in the... I trust you are doing well.
I am well.
Yeah.
By the good.
You are joining us again. We are grateful. Last week you were with us for the Bone Dam site. Today we are dealing with that of the Nkamfua Dam site. First of all, how did we get here? How did we get here that this dam site is not properly managed? We understand it's under your supervision.
Thank you very much, and good morning once again to your cherished listeners. As indicated by the previous speaker, the site was identified by the Assembly way back in the early 90s and has been the only disposal site servicing the entire CCMA and adjoining communities, including parts of KEEA, Asebu, Kwamankesi, and then parts of Infansimam. So you realize that it's a very central disposal facility serving multiple districts. The long and short of this issue is that there's no direct funding for managing this particular facility. So we as managers have not had any payment for a very long time, and that has been what has contributed significantly to the conditions on site. In addressing some of the issues that have been raised, indeed, when this site was, if you even look at when you use the land that receives waste, can be referred as a landfill. But what actually distinguishes between the landfills and engineered landfills are when the site is constructed or engineered or designed to receive safely and waste solid waste, then it becomes an engineered landfill. This has no engineering. This site was engineered to safely receive waste. It was just identified to receive this waste, and that has been the case from time immemorial.
Okay. But what really was the plan? Is it that we, from what you just said, we know of the Bone Dam site. Now we are seeing in Nkamfua Dam site. We may actually visit another dam site, and it looks like eventually we have development or people catching up, and the
people have phased out all dam sites in this republic. We should have phased out dam sites and transitioned to engineered landfills, which are safer for waste management. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case, and this has to do with the chronic underfunding of waste disposal sites across the country. So it's clear, we know what we are supposed to do. The laws are there, the guidelines are there. Unfortunately, the necessary attention has not been given to solid waste management as it's supposed to have been done.
Okay, so at what point do you now say, okay, we need to move this dump site to another space? At what point does it have, like, say, a timeline? Do we say every 10 years we move, every 5 years we have to move, or if it gets to a certain limit, and what's the limit?
Engineered landfills are designed, have lifespans. Whilst right at the design stage, an engineered landfill will be designed to receive maybe 500 tons per day or 600 tons per day over a certain period. So maybe for 10 years, 15 years, and so on and so forth. So right from the word go, in the design stage, all of these considerations are made. Unfortunately, because these are dam sites, we do not have enough consideration, or do not have enough time and effort going into the locations of these facilities or these sites. Normally, assembly officials go to a community, negotiate with traditional leaders, and then let's carve out a small portion to receive waste. And as I indicated, with time, development catches on, and then these issues start coming up. So that has been the deal for most of the disposal sites we have across the country, unfortunately.
All right, so across the country, do we even have an engineered landfill that is working properly, that is supposed to work?
Yes, there are engineered landfills in the country. There are about 5 or 6 of them. But as I indicated, because of underfunding or chronic underfunding to this particular subsector, which is very, very critical to waste management in Ghana, these sites are not given the attention that it needs. And these conditions, these poor conditions at these sites, becomes externalized cost to the government in terms of other public health and environmental health issues.
I was about asking the future consequences that we will be facing as a result of what you've just indicated, that the sector is really not given enough attention. So you'd want to answer that for us in details. But before that, are you still on this land or this dam site, or at this dam site managing it? Because from what our correspondent said, the Central Regional correspondent, he made mention of the fact that some makeshift structure has been put up at the dam site where some money is being taken. How is the management going now that there isn't any money coming to your end?
As far as I'm concerned, money is not taken at that particular site. We have some personnel located there with equipment. We have a waste handler that regularly pushes the waste that is received at the site. If this intervention has not been in place, the waste would spill into the community. So we try our best to, under the circumstances, to contain the waste within the footprint of the earmarked area, and that is exactly what we are doing. But no one is collecting money at the site, as far as we are concerned.
And do you embark on the fumigation exercise as well?
Yes, there are other third parties who do that, and we do that as well.
You do that.
All right. Fine. Okay, so I'm sure there are people trying to also differentiate how a landfill is supposed to work as to, you know, what it has become now, which is the dump site, because of no funding. How is it supposed to work? Can you give us the process and how it protects the environment around us if it was working properly?
Well, landfills currently under the waste management architecture of Ghana receives more than about 60% of waste that is generated within Ghana. So they are very critical when it comes to management of solid waste. Once they are taken out of the system would partially shut down. So it's very, very critical, and that must be established right from the word go. I also mentioned earlier on that there are guidelines on how these facilities are supposed to be managed or even identified or closed when they are full. These things are clear. You need people from various sectors at the assembly able to come together. The EP is very, very critical. You also have the assembly, you have the waste management planning, and other key people have to come together, go through a certain process to identify the site. Once that is done, the community entry, and you need a social license to also enter into places like this. And once you go through all that process, you design the facility to receive a certain quantum of waste on a daily basis. Once that is done, you provide plant and equipment to manage the waste that you receive at the site. These are all processes, and these all come with cost. Once you do these things, then you are safely disposing of the waste. And once that is done, you do not have these externalities in relation to the vectors, the dust, and the other issues that are associated with poor management of landfill sites.
Doc, before you take leave of us, just some two questions we want to ask you. One, what is the long-term effect if the sector is not prioritized, now that you've made mention of that? And how much do you think we will need to ensure that at least for now we get most of our dam sites or landfills working? If there has to be any relocation, that will also be done.
Well, the critical thing when it comes to this has to do with land. First of all, you need land to relocate. And especially in urban areas, land has become a challenge. Land acquisition has become a challenge. So, as per the Local Governance Act, it's clear that the assemblies are responsible for solid waste management, including waste disposal. So, the assemblies must first of all locate land that is quite distant from development activities, zone the area as a waste management zone, so there can be no encroachment, and enforce as well. So once you get the land, then you can engage other partners to a PPP arrangement, bring in the private sector to come in to assist you to develop. But it shouldn't end there. The sustainable financing is the critical part. Normally, through donor funding, some of these things are able to be sorted out at the beginning, the planning stages. You get them to come to take care of some of these downstream activities. It's not enough to actually take care of waste disposal and treatment. That's why we are experiencing some of these things that we are discussing this morning.
Wow. Doc, we've seen Tong, we've seen in Kamfwa. Are there other areas that are battling with the dam sites that are sort of full and have to be relocated? Has that come to your attention?
Well, these are all case studies, and they are not exclusive. This has generally been the situation across the country.
So there are other areas?
Yeah, they are. Most dam sites are not getting the attention that they need in terms of funding because of the fiscally, the assemblies that are directly responsible for that do not have the financial muscle to do that.
Doc, thank you so much. We will take our cameras to these areas, and we will definitely come back to you and have conversations on that. Dr. Peter Quaye Dagadu is the Managing Director for Wasted Landfills Company Limited, and he joined us. They are the managers of the landfills that ideally we are supposed to be having our eyes on, so that it doesn't result in any diseases or the cholera that Akwesi Ado spoke about. People within Nkamfwa, people in Po also back.
That there used to be such agitations in the past, over 5 years ago, when there used to be serious problems with the management of the site. But we got a landfill operator, Waste Landfill, who is managing it on behalf of the assembly. So about 4 years ago, and since then the situation has improved tremendously. There has not been any agitation since then. Maybe if anything, then it has not come to my attention.
But are you in talks with Waste Landfills and for you to see how the management is going, and also funds that they would use to go about the management, has that also been made available to them?
Yeah, I'm constantly in touch with them because they are managing the site on our behalf. So every day I go there to see what they are doing. The problem we have is that we are owing them. For some time we have not paid them. So over 2 years or 3 years we have not paid them. So that has affected their operations at the site. So, like the way they used to manage it every day, it's not more like that. But the situation is not that bad as to warrant agitation to close it down. Though the standards have fallen below when they were being paid.
All right. So you said that the place has been improved tremendously. That's what you said earlier. But when you talk about being improved tremendously, and like, what do they do? When you say the people are managing it well, what do they do? You say you always visit them. What do they do there that shows that they are managing it?
What they do is that we have equipment that they use in leveling the waste, compacting it, so that as the trucks dump, they push it, level it, and then compact. And when that happens, it is the situation like fire that is brought in by the containers, the skip trucks, the machine will douse them. So you don't have smoke nuisance, you don't have the nuisance associated with bad management.
Yeah, so do you think leveling the waste is all that it takes to manage such amount of waste, especially in a place that is meant to be an engineered landfill?
No, that is not all, because managing an engineered landfill entails much more. And like I said, because they have not been paid, they are not able to do some of the other things that they were supposed to do, like doing the regular covering after spreading and compacting the waste. Supposed to be, covered by topsoil, and that will reduce the nuisance that emanates from it.
Engineer, what is delaying the payment?
This is normally the payment is we are supported by central government, and for some time now they have not been paid, but arrangement is being made to do that.
But is there any follow-up to get the central government to pay them? Because if you've not paid a company for 3 years, that is a big problem. And how would they be able to go about their day-to-day activities or continue working on a site like this?
Yeah, we've been following up. In fact, recently we even wrote to the Minister of Local Government to follow up on it for us. We've been following up, and the operator himself knows that we are doing the follow up. So all we do is just to believe in them to give us to continue to manage the place whilst we follow up for their payment.
Wow.
So that's it.
All right. And earlier you said that the residents are not asking for the place to be moved, but when we spoke to the people via our reporter, who was actually with them, they said they want the place to be moved because of the kind of smell and also the fact that there was a cholera outbreak some time ago. Didn't you know about the cholera outbreak?
Yes, we had an outbreak some months ago, and during that time what we did was that we made them to spray the landfill periodically to reduce the effect of the transmission. So we did constant fumigation and spraying of the place during that time.
Okay, so now you would agree with us that the people want the dump site moved?
That has always been the case with waste disposal nationwide or worldwide. People don't like it to be located near them because of no matter how best you manage it, there are always some associated issues. So that one, we are not really surprised. All we do is that as the managers of the city, we do our best to make sure that the effects are minimized, seriously minimized, so that they don't, agitate. But those who are very close, especially, this landfill has been dead for over 20 years, and people have found their way, putting out structures very close to the site.
Wow.
So such people are always the ones that are agitating.
But Engineer, why would we be having a waste site or a dump site which is actually far from communities, and eventually we allow people to encroach or to get closer to these dump sites, and we have the issue of a relocation? Why is it that? Because we know the assembly are supposed to oversee these things and ensure that people do not get closer to areas demarcated to be maybe a landfill site or a dump site.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes these structures spring up, and there are people who go and even write on them, stop work, and the Ghana mentality, they will continue to put them up. So most of them are illegal. We can prove that they are illegal because they don't have the permit to put up those structures there. So if they are complaining now, then it becomes who is the problem, who is causing the problem. But as the authority, the government authority, the local level, we are always for the best of the people. Don't look at their, try and do everything within our, to reduce the effect of whatever activity we are doing, and that is our focus now.
Anyway, before you go, so how much do you owe the Waste Landfills Company Limited? How much do you want to give us that amount?
Oh my brother, this one I will not. I don't have it off head, so but it's a lot of money anyway.
It's a lot of money. Anyway, thank you so much, Engineer Jonas Dunibon, who is the Waste Management Director, Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly. Chris, the bottom line is pay the people, let them get the work done. The people in the area will be safe. The reason is, if you do not pay them, they can't be going there every now and then and be using their fuel, be using their manpower, be using their equipment, and we are not receiving money. How will you feel if you are working and you've not been paid for 2 to 3 years?
Like, I don't know, but
it's a big problem.
It's a big problem. I'm tempted to ask that, why is it that when it comes to working with the government, there's always an issue of payment.
Yeah, there's always some area somewhere.
It doesn't make working with them interesting
at all.
I mean, when election comes and people get into power, people are excited. People, who gets contract, you work, no pay.
That's serious.
Yesterday we were talking about nurses. Today we're talking about
sanitation. And I always say that if you are sitting in your air-conditioned car and you buy your food, think of where the waste will get to. Think of where the rubber will get to. Think of where the foil will get to. Think of where that paper will get to. Who is managing that waste? And if it has to be prioritized, it has to be prioritized very well. Elsewhere in other countries, you would find people prioritizing wastes. I understand some countries even import wastes because in their countries they do not have wastes. They are changing the face of waste in the country, moving it from one stage to the other because they have prioritized it. What is happening to Amagana? What is really happening to our country? Because if you do not prioritize it, we are owed this amount of money. Oh, the money will come. Oh, we are following up.
And it seems we are doing this. And it seems like it's always the people who are doing the essential works that are always owed. Because this is essential, whether we like it or not. This is very essential. It has to do with our environment. It has to do with our health. It has to do with everything. It has to even do with managing that community.
Yes.
So it is essential.
Because in Kafua community, if the waste is not managed well, he said the engineers made mention of the fact that months ago they recorded cases of cholera in the community. So if you do not have the
let me just go through some of the differences. A dump site lack of barriers to surface and groundwater. On fence site, wind-blown waste, uncontrolled drainage, uncontrolled gas generation and migration. This one we learned last week. You know, he talked about gas and everything. Waste picking. We see waste picking. Lack of management and monitoring. So the whole thing is now a dump site. Now a landfill, an engineered one, controlled drainage, management and operation plan, trained employees, waste compaction and soil coverage, SLF construction, monitoring of surface groundwater and gas generation, leachate and water treatment. So we are not doing any of this at this moment.
Maybe he made mention of there are engineered landfills, about 5 of them, agreed. But let's manage the dump sites.
But they are not managed too.
And
we're getting to the point that those places won't be managed too. They will turn to dump sites if they are not managed, because it takes money, it takes people to work.
To run it.
Exactly.
But this I think some sort of attention must be paid when it comes to sanitation sector. At least let's prioritize it, because we keep saying and we keep saying and we keep saying again, the watcher you are buying, and you are buying in that pack, which our president John Dramani Mahama said that that particular pack, the styrofoam actually went on the grounds to file a report on it when he said that it was going to be banned. So you are buying it in the white container, or whatever container you are buying it. You are using polythene bag, that is a plastic bag. You are using, you buy the porridge, the cocoa, they put it. Where is it ending? Where is the final destination? How are we moving from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 for us to? Maybe one of these days, I think on the show, they will play what is happening in Singapore. It's just as simple as that. The reason is so that you would compare what is happening there to what is happening in Ghana and elsewhere, other countries, so that you understand what really it means when it comes to waste management in this country. And maybe we are joking.
No, you see, the thing is, after COVID, I think we should have been serious with some things.
Yes, COVID taught
you
us
understand?
a lot.
After COVID, I think we should have been serious with sanitation, because sanitation is also a very integral part when it comes to the management of COVID. Do you understand? Washing your hands, keeping yourself clean, and all that. I think it's all part of sanitation. So we just lost it. We just lost it when everything got better. So I just think we should go back, and we should not expect another outbreak of something before we become serious with our lives.
Oh, for us, we are just hoping that the best will be done in this country, and sanitation be prioritized. Every Wednesday, we're bringing you updates from a community close to you, which has a sanitation issue, or how the sanitation situation there is being managed here on Channel 1 TV Breakfast Daily. Stay with us here. We'll come back with more.
Meet James. James has been searching for happiness for years. So we asked locals to point him to the source of their happiness. Until one fateful night, when his search finally came to an abrupt end. Find your happy place with GoTV. Get GoTV to enjoy a wide range of shows for the whole family. GoTV. Love it.
Hello? Hello, Auntie Abena. You won't believe what just happened. Grandma received her 4 TV. 4 TVs? Yes, 4.
Okay, I'm coming. It's like a scandal now. You are using it to spread grandma like that. Spread grandma? 4 TVs, 2 fridges, microwave. Abba, Kojo, why? Do you want to open an electrical shop for her?
Hey, no! It's a regular 100 cedis I send her.
I'm sure it's Uncle Atu.
Let's call him.
Atu? Why? Atu? Why are you spreading a grandma with appliances?
Me? Spread who? When? How? Please, it could be Amma.
Let's call Amma.
Let me call her.
Hello?
Amma, why?
are you saying?
Appliances for grandma, no. Why?
Hey, it's not me, oh.
There are some that are critical.
Let's call grandma.
Let's call grandma.
Hello?
Hey, grandma. So who is buying all those stuff for you?
Call me Granny Cash. Grandma know the joke, the luckiest. If they do me 5 here. When I buy ticket 100 cedis, I pay them small or big. I automatically get my free gift.
Hey, sir! Yes, so with the luckiest, anytime you buy tickets up to 100 cedis, whether small or at once, you are guaranteed to win a free gift. TV sets, fridges, hampers, airtime, cash. Remember to dial *712#, choose option 4 and follow the prompt. With the luckiest, everybody wins. Even Granny Cash.
Christmas, my favorite time of the year.
This festive season, Volta Serene Hotel invites you to experience the magic of Christmas and New Year like never before. From 20th of December to the 1st of January, step into a world of joy, music, laughter, and celebration. We begin on the 20th with a soulful carols night, filling the air with warmth and melody. Then, on 23rd and 24th of December, arrive in style as we welcome you with fresh coconut and local treats. Christmas Day brings pure delight, exciting moments for kids, relaxing escape for adults, and an elegant all-white dinner under the stars, crowned with a spectacular fireworks display. On Boxing Day, embrace culture and rhythm, from picnics and traditional dance to an unforgettable high life and old school night. As the week unfolds, enjoy movie night, live music, karaoke, and endless fun, until we welcome 2026 with a breathtaking fireworks show on New Year's Eve. Special Christmas packages starting from 4,050 for individuals, 5,250 for couples, and 8,900 Ghana cedis for a family of 4 for 2 nights. Call or WhatsApp 0541 539 867 or 0362 025 243 to book your experience today. Volta Serene Hotel. Feel the serene touch.
Yeah, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily right here on Channel One TV, and now it's time for us to check out what's trending. And what's trending is all about what people are talking about on the social media platforms. All right, we have some from X, Facebook, Instagram, wherever that you get your socials from. We have them right there. So we have 2 particular ones, and we are going to be starting with the first one. Otumfuo submits mediation report, and it was all over X and all over Facebook yesterday, apart from making it on, the mainstream media. It was all over social media too. So the Asantehene, who was the lead in mediating the Bawku conflict, submitted his report to the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Both Otumfuo and Mahama addressed the guarded audience, with Mahama commending Otumfuo for his efforts. And those are some pictures of what happened yesterday. It was all over X, and we also have a video on that. Let us check out the video, and later on we'll be checking out some of the comments that people are making on social media.
I wish to thank Otumfuo for this very...
Unfortunately, the law as it stands now makes Asigri Abu Asoka the lawful chief of Bawku, and so it is impossible legally to do any such thing in this mediation exercise. On the question of Bawku Town, I have taken the position that the established tradition since 1931 thereabout is that the person who is Bawku Naba has the entire Kusasi area. By law and the declarations of the Supreme Court of Ghana, Asugri Abugrago Azoka is a Bawku Naba, and there cannot be any rival residing in Bawku claiming otherwise. I have impressed upon my brother the Nairi to accept that recognition by law in appreciation of the enduring brotherhood that has
This is a good one.
I
think it's a very good one because I think the whole country is tired of what's happening in Baku, honestly. And I really wish that all this is resolved because lives are affected whether we like it or not.
It's brought business to a halt there, and schools are not in session, workers are running, civil servants are not working, doctors are not rendering their services, nurses same, teachers. So it's brought everything to a halt there. It's actually a border. It's brought everything to a halt there. It's actually a border town. So actually, if things are done properly, it's the economic activity there is going to really be a top-notch one. So let's bring you comments from the general public, what they've been saying about it.
This is how chieftaincy must function in a modern democracy. Bridging the gaps, politics can't, but culture. Nana Piao.
Yeah.
If you don't see him as the king of Ghana, then I'm sorry for you. He's who your president will run for such things every day. Thanks. You are a king for a reason. May peace reign in Boku. It is finished in Kofi Kinata's voice. Well done, Nana. And we are humbly asking that you replicate the same energy in the fight against illegal mining, Galamsey, especially on your land.
And the security ministry and also the government, that the president himself had made mention that a lot of money is being channeled into chieftaincy conflicts, disputes, land disputes and all that. So I think that is a step in the right direction if it's being checked, and this mediation report will go a very long way for us to have a lasting solution to the dispute up there.
But it was very impressive that the Asantehene himself read out this thing, but I was waiting to hear zoom.
Anyway, let's move away from that and let's bring you what happened in the court yesterday. That the Supreme Court ordered the Electoral Commission, that is the EC, to suspend all arrangement for the rerun of the parliamentary election in Pandai pending the determination of an application challenging the High Court judgment that ordered the rerun. It was an interesting one in court yesterday. We actually brought you a very lengthy one yesterday when our correspondent Hansen Ajman was on the grounds for us. But let's bring you what the public is saying about that. The trends here, we talk about what the general public is saying about this. So he said, I think the court has done well. This injunction will bring clarity to the final decision without any prejudice from Yan. Well, you say, and that is the message there. This one says that that's good. Let's have a country where people do not hasten to do wrong. If Supreme Court eventually decides there would be decency in whatever their decision will be, you say. Speaker of Parliament has declared the seat vacant. EC has made preparation for the rerun, and Supreme Court has suspended the rerun. Wow, interesting. That is like a 3 arms of government. I hope the final verdict will equally be accepted and applauded just like this. Well, let's see how that one goes around. So that is the message coming in from Emmanuel. Do we have another message? This one says, so what does this mean to the NP whose seat was declared vacant in Parliament? Well, you say. So that's an interesting one. You just be looking at how it's going to unfold in the coming days, and we'll be asking a lot of questions about that. It's just interesting that the Supreme Court has indicated that the rerun has been suspended. Let's bring you the video of the day. You can't risk the gentleman's life like that. This is hard work. Anyway, interesting one there. That's the video of the day. Let's bring you the entertainment highlights of the day.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ni Komite Kome, and this is proudly powered by GhanaWeekend.com. Now to our first highlight. Ghanaian musician Fancy Gadam has criticized the Ghana Music Rights Organization GAMRO after receiving a reported royalty payment of 123.82 Ghana cedis, describing it as insulting. He said the amount fails to reflect years of creative effort, financial investment, and hard work. According to the artist, the issue goes beyond money and highlights deep concerns about how music and creative labor are valued in Ghana. Fancy Gadam stressed that while passion drives artists, fair compensation is essential for sustainability and industry growth. His comments have sparked renewed debates over transparency and accountability in royalty distribution, with calls for reforms to ensure creatives are properly rewarded. Now to our next highlight. GAMRO has a response for Fancy Gadam because they are saying that Fancy Gadam's reported 123.82 Ghana cedi royalty payment reflects how publishing royalties are calculated, not the total earnings from his music. GAMRO said it only distributes publishing, broadcast, performance, and synchronization royalties, which accounts for about 15 to 20% of streaming revenue, while the larger share from the master recording is paid directly through distributors or labels. It is also noted that widespread non-compliance by radio and TV stations limits broadcast payments. The organization denied undervaluing artists, stressing that royalties depend on verified data and licensing, and reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and accurate distribution. Now to our next highlight. Agrada is in more trouble because the Accra High Court has found evangelist Patricia Isiedua, popularly known as Nana Agrada, guilty over circulation of explicit images of fellow pastor Emmanuel Appiah Fumu, also known as Osofo Biblical. On Tuesday, December 16, 2025, the court fined 12,000 Ghana cedis and ordered her to pay 50,000 Ghana cedis in compensation. The case dates back to 2021 when Nana Agrada was accused of sharing the images on Thunder TV, now Today TV, following a dispute over an alleged 10,000 Ghana cedi debt. Now to our next highlight. Carlo Yaboy is emerging as a rising force in global Afropop, blending his Ghanaian roots with Scandinavian influences. The Ghanaian Danish artist, producer, and songwriter who splits his time between London and Copenhagen is the son of legendary keyboardist Kwame Yeboah. Known for his high-energy live performances and crowd connection, Carlo reached major milestones in 2025, including selling out his first headline show in Copenhagen and performing at major festivals such as Roskilde, SXSW London, and Spot Festival. His recent releases showcase a versatile sound that fuses Afrobeat, Amapiano, R&B, and pop. He is set to perform in Ghana at Zen Gardens on December 20, marking a significant homecoming moment. Now to our next highlight. Temi Otedola and singer Mr. Easy have spoken about their intense pressure and disagreements they face while planning their wedding, explaining why they ruled out court wedding in Nigeria. The couple revealed on the podcast that they organized 3 weddings in 3 countries within 3 months, a process they described as overwhelming. Privacy concerns led them to abandon plans for a Nigerian court ceremony, while other options in their home and in the UK were also dismissed. They eventually chose Monaco for their civil wedding and later held a private ceremony in Iceland. Temi admitted she underestimated the administrative demands involved in getting married. Now let's get into Channel One TV's Top 10 Countdown.
Number 10.
Phone that hand, phone that hand. Yeah, can guide both for me, phone that DND if you
Number 9.
And I cannot deny it. All of my love for you. I'm more can never want you. All of my love for
koshifo my estra Intisha umbo now my eritro Yadania koshifo
Number 7.
My estra now I fell Trasa kwe minchilo Shabenzi minchil Promotion minchilo
Number 6.
Fuck my life and I make my money, me no worry about anybody. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy 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 giddy. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy.
Number 5.
Every scar survives, everyone will heal.
Number 4.
My son, I met you, I can't see me, say the pain, no, I'm the better. No matter what's 550, some as you can't, many better. Baby, I promise to lean, trip to the toast, me the better.
Number 3. Number 2.
I know get issues. DJ drop the bang and make I dance with my big shoes. Shy all day I wanna take a shot over man. I promise I'm on me. I know get issues. Shy all day I wanna.
Number 1.
Now I drop it. Namabuama, bounce and no the machine. Osama, you black credit, Jimmy. Mabuama, bounce and no the machine.
This is the Channel 1 Countdown.
And that's all for today's entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. Stay tuned for more exclusive stories, interviews, and viral moments from Ghana's vibrant entertainment scene. Visit GhanaWeekend.com and follow Ghana Weekend on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook for your daily dose of showbiz buzz, music updates, and the behind-the-scenes action. Don't just read it, live it, share it, and stay plugged in. This was presented by Ni Komite Kome.
This Christmas Eve, skip the ordinary and step into the extraordinary. Welcome to the Situation All White Party 2025, where the music never stops, the energy never drops, and the fun never ends. Celebrating grand style with great music, irresistible food, and an atmosphere that screams good vibes only. Date 24th December 2025. Venue Good Park near the Accra Mall. Time 8 p.m. till late. Dress code, it's an all-white affair. Get ready for electrifying live performances from Kofi Kinata, Kwabua, Perez Music, Inchin Band, and DJ Mingle. Your best all-white fit. Bring your dancing shoes and let's light up the night together. Book your tables now. Call 0205-973-973 or 0558-973-973. It's Christmas Eve. Don't miss it. The Situation All-White Party 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM, and it's proudly sponsored by EcoBank, Bethel Logistics, and Hallmark Cafe, and supported by Oswald Investment Limited and Verve du Vernet.
All right, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily right here on Channel 1 TV. And now we're getting into a conversation that you will love. And the lady in white is here anytime she comes here in her white. You know, we're going to talk about the Situational White Party going to happen on the 24th of December at the Good Park beside Accra Mall. And it's the party of the year. It's the party that we always use to, you know, top up the year to say thank you, God, that we've really worked hard and reward ourselves too and our viewers and listeners. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's her name? Maggie White.
Yeah, Maggie White.
Yeah. Maggie White.
White Maggie.
Thank you. Good morning.
It's here with us, Maggie White.
I'm very well, thank you.
You're on your whites again.
Yeah.
Again,
Hey.
I told you. I told you.
I
told you. Till 24th
she has a lot of white.
December, I am doing white.
You have a lot of whites, eh?
I do.
Oh.
I love white.
Oh,
Yeah, so I think situation was made for me.
That's nice.
And people
That's
like
nice.
me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
So today is 17th.
Yeah.
People don't know that it's a week.
7 days to
today.
go.
It's a week today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Hey, it's true.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday.
Yes. Let's take Wednesday.
How did I even?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's take Wednesday as situation
By
or
now
white
we'll
party.
be all over the place.
So if you have not paid yet, Maggie, how's it going?
It's going very well. It's going really well. I mean, people are paying now, but we still need to, you know, intensify the, you know, the speed for the payments.
Good.
We know that most of the workers are going to be paid, let's say, by Friday, definitely, because a lot of people will be breaking by 22nd, 23rd. So please, if your accountant has paid you and you don't know where to go, we are here to tell you where to go. 24th night, there's only one place to be. If you are not there, I'm sure